Hello all you wonderful, beautiful, and craptastic people, CraptasticJack here, and today I'm going to be giving you my review of the Crew 2's Summit from the Hot Shots update. Now, to be fair, this is not everything coming in the Hot Shots update, although this is the main meat of the Hot Shots update. The Summit returning from the Crew 1, and I'm going to be giving you an exclusive look and my first impressions as well as my review for the new Summit coming to the Crew 2's new Hot Shots update releasing today when this video goes up. So without further interruptions, let us begin. Firstly, I want to give Ubisoft a huge thank you for giving me early access to the Summit portion of the Crew 2's new Hot Shots update. Now, let's get right into the review. Now, by the way, these are going to be my thoughts and opinions. Now, since this is an opinion-based channel, you should all know that by now. I have stated that there is more to this April update, and at the time of me making this video, though there are other features that have yet to be revealed. So this video will just be on the Summit alone and some of the new cars and stuff that they added. If you played the Crew 1, you probably played a bit of the Summit. The Summit was a festival set in different locations, mainly in the West, across the United States that offered new races and events every week, and exclusive vehicles at the end of each month. The Summit was if not the main form of endgame for the Crew 1, and its lack of existence in the Crew 2 really dragged this game down a lot in my opinion. Finally, however, after about a year of the Crew 2 being released, the Summit finally returns, and you will see that's pretty much identical from the Summit and from the Crew 1 with some changes and substitutions. For instance, there is no longer a qualification requirement to enter a weekly Summit. In the Crew 1, you had to qualify for each week's Summit by completing either 3 sets of free drive challenges or 2 custom free drive races. Since none of those features are currently in the Crew 2, there is no longer any requirement to do any of these. The Summit automatically becomes available to you at Icon Level 1. There is also no Summit PvP, which is a big bummer. Summit PvP allowed you to increase your Summit rank after you've completed and exhausted your skills in the weekly challenges. The same goes for no free roam races, which also allowed you to increase your Summit rank considerably. Both features are no longer a part of the Summit, which is a bummer, with the latter not even being in the game entirely. However, that is not to say that there is a lack of content per week, because there is. Every week you have 9 new events to take part of, some of which are already existing events in the game, some of which are already existing tracks repurposed for different disciplines, and there is 1 new event weekly. Along with this, there are 3 skill challenges from around the map selected. In last week's, there was 3 escape skills available to grind and get better at. Or exploit. I do have to say, Ivory really went for the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach with the Summit, which I'm glad to see because the Summit from the Crew 1 was really well done, and I'm happy to see that they're emulating that with this update. I had quite a lot of fun trying to consistently better myself with each event, even with events with disciplines that I don't really play much, like off-roading or speedboats. Now, as stated previously, there are 9 events per week. If you complete each event, you get automatically a 100,000 point bonus. Each event also allows you to earn points based on how quickly you finish raced or how far you can escape the red circle in the escape skills and etc. The better you do, the more points you get. Now, going back on events, many of these events are racing events where you are racing against other AI players. However, the AI players don't really serve a purpose. The difficulty for each event seems to be automatically set at easy, so I lose the AI sometimes after the first corner. I think it would be much more appropriate to add these races to the game after the Summit is concluded, as races with AI, but when they're currently in the Summit, have them race with only a ghost as your best time in each Summit. Since that is what you're going to be doing most of the time, it would be great if we got a ghost to chase on these events to allow us to more effectively and efficiently get better at each event. Now, speaking of getting good, you are going to need to upgrade your cars a lot. Since I didn't really have access to my collection of cars in the private test server, I had to consistently go out and grind races for better parts just to keep up with the 20 other people on the leaderboards. This is going to be an interesting factor that we are going to have to wait and see play out when it comes to professional players who have grinded for every gold part for every car of every spec versus people who dropped off the game a few months back and are returning to try out the Summit. You're going to need to tune and upgrade your cars to the max if you want to stay competitive. This I feel is going to scare away new people, but it's great for people who have stuck around with the game and now have a place to face off with the best of the best. In addition to the Summit, we were also provided with some of the new cars being added to the game, such as the Bugatti Divo, yuck, as well as the Lamborghini Egoista, however the fuck you pronounce that. Also, Mitsubishi is coming to the Crew 2. As you all saw, we have the Evo 10 Red Fury Edition, which honestly doesn't look half bad when you're driving it in person. And if you also don't like that, there's also, thankfully, the stock Evo 10 available for you. Also, you can now mute the TV, but I don't think it was working because no matter if I muted it or unmuted it, it wouldn't play anyways, which I guess is fine either way. I'm thank God. Sadly, Hero was not executed in this update by Firing Squad either, so negative points going for that. Also in this update, they added new chat messages for you to spam when racing other people around in the game. And also, this is one thing I noticed. I really hope they kind of change with some of the events that they do. One of the events for the touring car was a street race. It took place on the streets of New Orleans, and there were ramps all over the track. Like, that was the main feature of the race, was that there was jumps everywhere, there was ramps everywhere, but in order to actually get the best time and get the most points, you had to actively swerve around all the ramps. You had to actively avoid all the ramps, which was just asinine, and at that point, that's just kind of stupid. So less events like that, where the clear, obvious way to get the best time is to avoid what's in the middle of the road every 10 feet. Less races like that, please. And now to sum it all up. The Summit alone is probably the best update Ivory Towers put out for the Crew 2, but that's not really saying much since the last two were not that good, and tried to force feed the community more useless features. Unlike those two updates, the Summit is something people in the community have been asking for a while, and we are finally getting it. After a year after release, but still. Now, do I think this is going to be a long-lasting update? Will this bring people back to the Crew 2 long-term? Well, I think it depends. If you are a hardcore competitive person who has been stuck with this game through thick and thin, then this update is definitely going to keep you coming back. However, I don't feel the Summit will bring many people back who dropped off early in the game's life cycle, which is a large percentage of people. Many of the players who dropped off early in the game's life cycle will be turned away by the antagonizing grind and being demolished by players who are much better equipped than they are. Now, if this update came out earlier, like say December or even earlier, then I would say that more people would come back to the Summit. But I feel the Summit alone is just too little too late. They scared away too many people with Gator Rush and Kings of Mayhem. Hell, I even asked some of my friends I spent hundreds of hours playing the original Summit from the Crew 1 with, and they all said that they really wouldn't be spending too much time, or they wouldn't even check out this update at all. The game scared them away, and now they don't really want to have to grind all the way back just to be able to do well in the Summit. Ivory Tower needs to focus their next update after Hot Shots at offering something that will entice new people to the game and old players back to the point where they'll want to devote more time to building their cars and maximizing their perks and tunes, either by reducing the grind or adding more content aimed at newer players. But until then, I do believe the Summit will stabilize the game and keep more people from leaving the game, and that fact alone makes this update a good one for the Crew 2. Again, I would like to thank Ivory Tower and Ubisoft for inviting me to partake in the Summit a week early to capture footage and get my feet wet. As much as I scream about this game and its many faults, I can tell when something good for the game comes along, and this is just that, and we should congratulate Ivory for doing a good job with this update. This video is actually going to go right at start doing a live stream, which they said they would be revealing more information to this update, and I was told that not everything in the test server is in this update. So we're gonna have to wait and see what comes next. Please be cops. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see some more craptastic content, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you don't ever miss an upload. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitch and join my Discord to be able to chat with me and some others. That's all for now, guys. Have a good one.